And here we are with the National Lacrosse League Finals between the Buffalo Bandits and the Calgary Roughnecks. Buffalo showing why they were the best team this season by steamrolling the New England Black Wolves 13-6 in the division semifinals, and then a solid victory over rivals Toronto Rock 12-8 to secure their spot in the finals. So after 2 years of missing the playoffs, they are right back in the finals once again. But how about Calgary with a come-from-behind win from a fourth-quarter surge to edge out the San Diego Seals 12-11 on the road in their division semis, and then holding down the Colorado Mammoth at home to a low-scoring affair, winning 8-4 to advance to the finals in their first since 2014. So the Buffalo Bandits looking to lift their first trophy since 2008, while the last time the Calgary Roughnecks won it all was in the next season in 2009. So both teams hoping to end their championship droughts of 10 years or more. And so for Game 1, the opening half was pretty much a deadlock, as it took over halfway through the first quarter to open up the scoring. And it was Reese Dutch with an absolute missile from the top of the zone to put the Calgary Roughnecks up first. But before the end of the frame, the Buffalo Bandits will get on the scoreboard from a nice cut by Corey Small to bury it in. So a 1-1 game, but the second quarter was pretty much the same, taking almost 10 minutes to find a goal from a rip by Dane Smith to give Buffalo their first lead. But not too long later, it was Reese Dutch again, shooting 5-hole to even it up, as they trade a goal again in the second quarter, so it was only 2-2 at halftime. But the game picks up in the second half, with Buffalo's Sean Evans first, firing from a crowd to find the back of the net. But then the turning point for Calgary on a massive play, starting with a huge save by Christian Del Bianco. Then perfectly in transition, it was Captain Dan McRae with the equalizer for his first career playoff goal, as the Calgary Roughnecks add a couple more, one from Curtis Dixon who slipped it through a seam, and one from Dane Dobie seconds before the end of the third quarter. So Calgary with the 5-3 lead entering the final frame. And then here was the deciding point of the game right into the quarter. Buffalo's Ethan O'Connor picks up a loose rebound and scores it on a dive, but it was immediately waved off, because it seemed his foot was on the edge of the goalie crease but just barely. So Calgary immediately picked up the ball, and down the other way they score by Dobie. So instead of a 1-goal game, Calgary go up ahead by 3. And with that, the Roughnecks started to pull away, as Dobie again finds another almost a minute later to complete his hat-trick. But the Bandits got it back seconds after on a power play. But quickly Calgary add a couple more to make it 9-4 at this point. Buffalo give it a final surge, scoring 3 goals in a span of 2 minutes. Big ones in transition, 2 from Josh Bjorn and 1 from Chase Fraser. But that just wasn't enough, as Calgary ice it with an empty netter and take Game 1 on the road, setting up a chance for the championship next game at home. So on to Game 2, and boy, this one was a thriller, as the Calgary Roughnecks take first blood again by Game 1's top scorer Dane Dobie, but the Buffalo Bandits would get that back a minute and a half later. And then the series of goals that were no more than 2 minutes apart from each other. First, the teams trade goals less than 30 seconds apart, from Chris Cloutier, then Riley Lowen, who find their first of the series. Then in a span of 2 minutes, the Bandits add a couple, but the Roughnecks' Curtis Dixon scores one just 17 seconds after that. So it stood 4-3 for Buffalo after the first quarter. The Bandits got the first in the second quarter by Sean Evans, but Calgary would score 5 unanswered goals here, starting with the epic behind-the-net goal by Zach Courier, and 3 of the 5 on the power play. That included the Lowen goal from 2 slick behind-the-back passes. With only seconds left in the half, the teams trade goals just 7 seconds apart. So the score was 9-6 Calgary at the half, as it seemed pretty good for the Roughnecks here, but you'd never know in the game of lacrosse. So it was Buffalo coming out halfway through the third quarter, scoring 3 straight goals to tie the game up, as they trade goals again in the final couple minutes of the third quarter, for a 10-10 tie heading into the final quarter. Calgary jumps ahead quickly in 18 seconds by Reese Dutch, then Dixon slips one through to add another less than a minute later, and the Bandits finally answer halfway through the frame, scoring a couple, one from a power play goal by Jordan Durston, and one that was initially waved off, and that could have been another crucial call in this game too. But now tied 12-12, Calgary goalie Christian Del Bianco sends a long ball down to the Buffalo zone to none other than Dobie, who buries it home with 55 seconds remaining. But Buffalo find the equalizing goal in desperation by Corey Small, and this one needed overtime to decide it. And it took just 1 minute of overtime. The hero was who else? Reese Dutch, who puts away Game 2, and winning the NLL Championship in the most dramatic way possible at home. So of course Dane Dobie is the finals MVP, with a total 7 goals, 6 assists for 13 points, as the NLL Cup stays in Canada. But instead of Saskatchewan, it's Calgary. So congratulations to the Calgary Roughnecks on winning the 2019 NLL Championship, and their third in franchise history, ending their drought after 10 long years. So thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you'll tune in to the next episode.